So this is the women in Iran, about the expectation of women in Iran by me. The history of the treatment in Iran is that prior to the 1979 revolution, many Iranian women were gaining rights and they were finally becoming equal to men in the world. But after the revolution, that was taken away from them, and a new dress code was instated, and many men in Iranian society was looking forward to the new changes because they were looking for new ways to control the women in their lives. A dress code was instated where women had to cover up their faces, their hair, and the rest of their bodies, called a burqa or a niqab. And if you didn't wear it properly, or if you didn't wear it at all, you were punishable by stoning or by 70 lashes, which is similar to what happened to Alexis tonight. Or if you dishonored your family in another way, you could be killed using honor killing, which was basically when a male family member would kill, most of the times it was a female family member that dishonored the family in some way. And they were often killed in brutal, unimaginable ways. And there are no laws protecting women from violence anywhere in Iran. Because it is seen as a family, they're seen as a family matter, so it shouldn't be involved with the government at all. Women are constantly abused and killed recklessly in the streets protesting for their rights. In Tehran, there was a protest following the murder of Mahsa Amini, so there was protests, and many people who were against the protest came and attacked the women, and the police did nothing to protect the women, and many of them died, or were assaulted or killed and hurt in another way. If Iranian women do not comply with the national dress code, they have limited rights, they're not allowed to do certain things, so you're only allowed to have rights if you follow exactly what they say. And there's also the subject of Iranian child marriages, which is that Iranian children are allowed to get married at the age of 9 lunar years, which is 8 years and 9 months, which is the same age of the average third grader in America. And they aren't marrying other third graders, they're marrying adult men or teenage boys. This is a documentary explaining about what the women go through.
I was just working as a line of writers. Some of them said, I asked if there was anything wrong. Then suddenly, one of them pointed the camera and fired. I can't believe it. There's no logic. I feel like they're zombies. They grab my hair and push me. Every time I turn my head, I saw many ones. All the days, they're motivated.
So the reasoning behind the mistreatment of women in Iran is because Iran is a largely religious state. They use Islam as a reason for the treatment of women, and they use this because women are considered weaklings, and they're considered less valuable than men are. So when a woman is 50% of a man, and this often limits many of their rights. And in the divorce settlement, a man can divorce a woman by just sending her a letter saying that he wants a divorce. A woman has very difficult consequences. You can't get divorced as easily no matter the situation. If they do get divorced, children aren't allowed to live with their mother unless they're over a certain age. So everything is owned by the men, and this is because they're worth half as much. And like I said, religion is a large reason for a lot of treatment of women. And it's considered un-Islamic for the legal marrying age to be over 18, because according to the Quran, which is the holy book in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, which is a very important being, he married his wife when she was 6 years old, and they never consummated the marriage until she was 9 years old. So that's why the legal marriage age is like that. The similarity between the Holocaust and the exploitation of women in Iran is that both groups were oppressed by law before the killings actually started. So in the Holocaust, the Jews were prevented from going to certain places, and they were kind of kept in a ghetto, and they were like kept away from certain areas, and they weren't allowed to do certain things that they could used to do before the Nazis took over their country. And in Iran, women aren't allowed outside, or they aren't allowed to go to certain places unless they're escorted by a man, which is sort of like a prison guard escorting them around. It's called a mahram, and it's like a family member, a male family member that you can't marry Islamically. In Iran, women are required to wear a veil by law. They're required to wear a veil by law, and if they're not, they're publicly abused. And Nazi European Jews were forced to wear the Star of David on their clothes and on their sleeves. And this can cause a lot of more harm than good, which isolates the women and the Jews from other groups and makes them a point of interest from people who may want to harm them. The differences between the Holocaust and exploitation in Iran is that the women are oppressed, but they're not immediately killed. They're kept down, but they're not prisoners of war, they're not thrown somewhere and just killed recklessly like it was in the Holocaust. The Jews were killed based off of their religion. They were told, you're Jews, you're bad, you're evil, for centuries, millennia. But women are mistreated because of religion. They're using religion as an excuse. So I guess that's a way they're similar, but it's a different. They're using religion to make women bad, but they're not. They're using Jews. Okay, moving on. These are my sources. Thank you.